Om Sahanavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvina Adhikamastu Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. If Atman is the witness, why do we say it is Nirguna Brahman? Because witness is a role. Nirgunam Brahman means Brahman that is free from all gunas, all qualities, all roles, all attributes. Whereas you are saying Atman is witness, then witnessing is one of his functions. So, how do you say then Atma is Brahman? Atma is witnessed not by way of the activity of witnessing. Atma is witnessed by way of illumining, that's all. Therefore, he is called witness only in a secondary sense, not in a primary sense. And so, Atma cannot tell us what happened. It's not witness of that nature. witness generally undergoes a change corresponding to what is witnessed. So if I am witnessing something, then as that something changes, there will be a corresponding change in me also. So witness also is a changing entity. Witness in a primary sense also will be a changing entity. And Atma is changeless, therefore witness also is not a primary function. Here, witness or witnessing means illuminating, not witnessing in terms of performing a function of witnessing. We call Atma the witness because supposedly, he illumines Atma illumines everything, but then doesn't play the role of a witness. Because then he would become qualified. Witnessing would be, witness is a functional name, and nothing can perform a function permanently or constantly. A function will change. But Atma is witness all the time. That means witnessing is not a function, it's just being. So Atma, by way of being, shining, you say illumines like this. The fluorescent light illumines. Sun illumines the world. But even though we say sun illumines, illumination is not an action on the part of sun. Sun just is by, and it is self-shining. So by way of sun who shines on its own, you say sun witnesses this world. But there is no act of witnessing on the part of sun. Sun is just sun is being, and because of the nature of light, therefore, it illumines. But then to illumine is not its function, or not any desire on the part of, or there is no sankalpa or will. Just sun by being what it is, illumines. So we say sun is witnessing everything. Similarly, Atma is called witness, not in the sense that Atma performs the act of witnessing. The witnessing is not an action. Atma is witnessed by of illumining everything. Therefore, it is Nirgunam Brahman also, because there is no witnessing is not a function or not a role or is not a attribute. So also can be called creator, sustainer, dissolver. Because we see creation taking place all the time. We see destruction taking place all the time. And as Puja Swamiji said, the process of creation and destruction is sustained. So we see sustenance all the time. Because sustenance means what? Constantly either creation takes place and destruction takes place. Something gets destroyed and gets creation. So the process of creation and destruction is sustained, you can say. So that is what Ishvara is said to be. But again, Ishvara is in presence. The Prakriti creates. Maya adhyakshena prakriti suyate sacharacharam. In the 9th chapter of the Gita, Lord Krishna says, Maya adhyakshena. I'm just adhyaksha, just a witness. Prakriti suyate sacharacharam. Prakriti, or the primordial matter, you can say, it creates, sustains, dissolves. So all of that at the level of Prakriti or energy or matter. Energy you can call it, or matter, in presence of Atma, presence of Ishvara. Please explain what you mean with the sleeper is experiencing the waking state. Is that what you said? Sleeper? Yes. So sleeper is experiencing waking, dream and deep sleep. Yatta supto na kanchana kamam kamayate na kanchana swapnam pashyati. Tat sushuptam. So that is called sushuptam, sushupti or state of deep sleep, where there is no desire, there is no dream. Desires represent reflect the waking state. Dream is for the dream state. So where he does not have desire, meaning he is not awake, where he is not dreaming, where he is not dreaming, where the sleeper is like that. That means the sleeper is desiring, sleeper is dreaming. Yatra supta na kanchana kamam kamayate na kanchana swapnam. Yatra supta. Where the one sleeping one, where the sleeping one does not entertain any desire and does not have any dream. Sleeping one. But that sleep is of different nature. It is not the same sleep that is of the same degree of reality as dreaming. It is sleep of ignorance, which has a different reality from this local sleep and dream, etc. So, by the sleeping one meaning the ignorant one, who is sleeping in the sleep of ignorance, who is sleeping into the reality. So, that is also called sleep. Yanisha sarvabhutanam tasyam jagati sanyami. Lord Krishna says that that which is night for all the beings is where the wise person is awake. And yasyam jagrati bhutani, and where the beings are awake, that is where he is sleeping. He is awake to the reality where the ignorant people are sleeping. He is sleeping to this projection where ignorant people are. So, ignorant people are both sleeping and awake. Can there be sleeping and wakefulness simultaneously? Yeah. Where the sleeper does not see dreams, where the sleeper does not have desire, you mean sleeper can desire? If that sleeper means the sleep of ignorance, then you can say the one who is sleeping in ignorance desires, sees dreams. So that is what is meant. The sleeper is experiencing the waking state, means we are all experiencing waking state. We are all sleeping. Sleeping in the sleep of ignorance. Sleeping to the true nature of ourselves. Unaware of the truth, that sleeping to our true nature of ourselves, but wakeful to the mithya world. We are used to thinking that the waker goes to sleep, as in the example of the falcon going to sleep. In this manner, can the identification of the waker resolve? We are accustomed to thinking that the waker goes to sleep. But that waker is waker, all right, but is also sleeper. He is sleeping inasmuch as he is ignorant. He is awake to the projected world. Just as when we are sleeping and awake, sleeping to the outside world and awake to our own dream world. So person sees a dream, therefore is awake to that dream world, but sleeping to the outside of Vyavaharik world. Two degrees of reality. Is sleeping in the Vyavaharik reality and dreaming in the Pratibhasik reality. So also the sleeper, the one who is sleeping in a sleep of ignorance, is awake to the Vyavaharik reality, etc. So they are Sleeping and being awake are not in the same level, same degree of reality. Sleeping to the truth of ourselves, and awake to the world which is a projection. Is it more confusing or has it made things any clear? Okay. One minute. Will you please speak in the microphone?
So we are Jivatma is sleeping and awake to Mithya world. Paramatma is awake or asleep.
Paramatma is awake to the reality and he is awake to everything. The wise person is said to be awake to the reality and sleeping to the mithya world because he does not see that mithya world. He sees only the reality, that's all he sees.
Okay.
Paramatma is a consciousness that illumines all the states. Here, we are sleeping or awake, which are states of mind. Paramatma is not sleeping in the sense that his mind is sleeping. So he's awake. To be awake is the nature of Paramatma, consciousness.
The Bhagavad Gita sloka, the enlightened one sleeps when we are all awake,
Hmm.
and he's awake when we are
Because
asleep.
enlightenment also has a mind. The enlightenment is different from Paramatma. Enlightenment also is a Jivatma who has a mind, except that the mind is not awake to the reality. So when the rest of the world is sleeping to the reality, awake, to the Vyavaharik world, sleeping to the reality, that is where the wise person is awake to the reality also. He sees this reality as well as the reality of the self. We see this reality, but not seeing the reality of ourselves. So awake to this world, sleeping to this. Wise person may be awake to this as well as awake to that. Or he chooses to withdraw into himself, he can be sleeping to this world, but awake to the self.
Swamiji, in relation to her question, like Gita says, Jnani is same as me. Lord Krishna says. So Lord Krishna says that in Gita that Jnani is like me, you know, makes it so when as she's asking that question, that they sleep when we are awake and then they awake when we are sleeping. So uh, I'm just asking that same clarification of that you know how to.
Jnani tvatmaiva me matam. Lord Krishna says, the wise person is my Atma. I am his Atma, he is my Atma. But then, the Jnani also is a human being with a human body, with a mind. And therefore, he also is awake and sleeping like other human beings. So, that way, Jnani and Paramatma are not one.
Because in the human body.
Ah. In as much as he knows himself as Paramatma, Jnani and Paramatma are one. In as much as he possesses an upadhi and functions in the relative world, he is not Paramatma. So Jnani cannot create and sustain and dissolve, etc. Limitation by the upadhi anyway. Yeah. We call him Sarvajna. But he's not omniscient like Paramatma. Sarvajna in sense, Sarvam Samanya, so he knows everything in general. Paramatma knows everything in particular as well. Sarvajna, Sarvavit. So difference is in Upadhi. In terms of the reality, Jnani is the same as Paramatma. In terms of Upadhi, he is limitation of Upadhi. So he is not Paramatma at the level of Upadhi because he is limited by body and mind. So he can't create, sustain, dissolve, etc. You follow? Very strange question. But I have freedom to just put it aside, but I'm still reading to you. So just this, fortunately or unfortunately, nobody is required to write their name. So you don't know who is asking this question. So nobody will take responsibility for this question anyway. Just curious, this person says. If you are ever married in USA or India, you can ask any other people, many other people know me. You could ask them whether Swamiji, ever got married in India or in USA, etc., etc. Uh, I do not know. It's very strange for someone to ask a question like that to a Swami. But anyway, no, I wasn't. Neither in India nor in USA. Because you are married in India and you are declaring that you are not married when you come to India. When you are married in India and in US you declare that you are not married. That's all different thing. But that's not the case. You take it to your prarabdha. So what is my the sannyasa is my prarabdha or what is just curious. So that I was married is prarabdha. I'm not married is prarabdha. What is the prarabdha? I guess so. It can be called prarabdha. That I am what I am due to my prarabdha and everyone is what they are because of their prarabdha. Does it feel like a waking dream or deep sleep? Do I feel like I'm awake in a dream or I'm in deep sleep? No, I'm as you are. At the level of mind, there's no difference between you and me. Therefore, I'm awake to the same world that you are awake. When I go to sleep, I sleep to the same world. So, no, there are no such differences. Difference is that you know something, and as a process, all of you know basically. Nobody is ignorant. Our Swamiji says, I'm telling you are Brahman, so you know that you are Brahman. Then what's the difference between a person who heard first time that I'm Brahman and Swamiji? So he gave the example of Polaroid camera. Everybody knows Polaroid camera. You know what is Polaroid camera? Because no more there. I mean, it's not being used now, but maybe 50 years ago there was a Polaroid camera. You take the picture, pull out the frame, wait for 2 minutes, and in the process, the picture becomes clear. You pull out the frame, a very faint line. Swami sitting in the chair. As the time goes, slowly and slowly, the features become clearer, and now you see more outlines of chair, more outlines of Swami, and his face, and slowly his lips, and slowly his eyes, and in 2 minutes, everything become clear. Now, when you started the first, what was the knowledge? Swami sitting in the chair. As the picture started becoming clearer and clearer, what's the knowledge? Swami, that does not change. Swami sitting in the chair does not change, except that Swami becomes clearer and clearer and clearer. So on the first day I'm telling you are Brahman, so you know you are Brahman. And then course of years, weeks, months, days, weeks, months, years, what it means that I am Brahman becomes clearer and clearer and clearer and clearer. So this is more a matter of clarity than not knowing. You know, you are Brahman, so you know. Yeah, but Swami is still there. So keep working on that. So in fact, Vedanta only dwells upon this one statement, I am Brahman. Vedanta starts with this teaching, you are Brahman. What do you mean, Swami, I am Brahman? Okay. So let us discuss. So we explore in what way you are Brahman. In what way your present notion, let us say, or present conclusion that you are a limited being, in what way that is not right? Because how did you arrive at the conclusion that you are a limited being? Did you see a limited self? I'm a limited self. Did you see a limited self? How do you say you're limited? Have you seen yourself being limited? How do you say you're limited? So point is, you cannot establish that. So Vedanta teacher will say that you please prove that you're limited. Because I know I'm limited. How? Ah, my body is limited. Your body is limited. My sense organs are limited. Prana is limited. Mind is limited. Intellect is limited. How to say you are limited? We start with the conclusion, I am limited. Is it not so? Now the teacher says, you are Brahman. So how can I be Brahman when I know that I am limited? How do you know you are limited? Please tell me how you say that you are not Brahman. How do you say you are not limitless? Hey, Swami, I was born 15 years ago, 25, but your body was born. Swami became graduate 5 years ago. That was your mind, intellect. So by identification of the body, you say that you're born. By identifying the mind, you say I'm this. By intellect, you say this. I'm an engineer, doctor, X, Y, Z. Have you seen the self, which is doctor, engineer? No. It's all the result of identification. Is it not so? So please prove that you're limited. That's what a Vedantic teacher. Swami, I'm limited. Please tell me how you're limited. I know I'm limited. How do you know? No, I'm limited. Look at this. I was just born, but that was body. I'm limited because I'm limited now, but that's still your mind. I know that I'm limited. I have limited capacity, but that's your, personality, your prana, your ichha shakti, kriya shakti, jnana shakti. They are limited. The powers that have been given, the powers to know, powers to will, power to act, limited. How does it prove that you are limited? So, prove to me that you're limited, then we'll show you how you're not limited. Right? So, when you try to understand how you're limited, it will become clear that I've just taken it for granted. We have simply taken for granted. So, everybody does it that way. So, everybody sees that sun is rising and sun is setting. Just because everybody says it doesn't make it true. So, we are not subjecting our conclusions to the scrutiny of reasoning, just taken for granted. So Vedanta directs us to question, but directs us. So what happened? Well, let me finish the sentence. Vedanta directs us to examine our conclusions. We have concluded as to who I am and everything we have concluded. On what basis? I know, Swamiji, I am limited. How do you know? I feel limited. My knowledge is limited, my power is limited. And that's all right. Your knowledge is limited, your power is limited, this is limited. Who says you are limited? So this is simply taken for granted. And Vedanta invites us or directs us to uh, examine those conclusions. Hmm.
So my question is, what is
But
unlimited?
just speak in the microphone.
So if power to do everything, power is limited, everything is limited. What is unlimited?
The one who says I am limited is unlimited. You are unlimited.
So ultimately, it is the power, right?
Who is power? You are a power? This is another fashion, God is a power. Who says that? God is power? You are not a power. You are a conscious being possessing power. Is it not so? What I'm saying is that we have taken for granted all of these things. We live our life based on all these conclusions without ever analyzing the basis of the conclusion. That's why everybody does it. So that's why we also do that. That's where what Vedanta helps us to do, to examine our conclusions. If in the dream state, Chetana, that is conscious, doesn't have identification with the physical body. What is this? Why is everybody looking at that? Huh? Sound is coming? Yeah, usually the fans make sound.
Some metal sound.
There are so many sounds that maybe I cannot make out one more sound. But fan is stand still, so let me read this question again. If in the dream state, Chetana doesn't have identification with the physical body and organs stop functioning, then how do we understand sleepwalking? In that state, hands, legs, and also speech are still functioning. You would ask this question of a doctor. Is there a doctor who can explain what is sleepwalking? Hmm? No? I guess it's not totally asleep, partially awake, not awake to this world, but awake to something inside. And so he walks, and this I think he comes back to the same place. He doesn't get lost apparently. So he gets out of his bed and then makes a trip, then comes back to the same thing. So it is not total sleep, not total waking state. It's something in between, condition of the mind. It is true, but then person is walking, and hands, legs are all Speech, he talks also, maybe. People talk in their sleep also, but without walking, they talk even while they are lying down. That means not totally asleep. Some function is going on, and something is going on in the mind, and that expresses as a speech or expresses walking, etc., etc. I believe. But I don't care, basically. What does it matter? We are interested in Atma, and Atma is not walking, not talking, not sleeping, is unconnected to everything else. So all these details, it would be nice academic to know, but I think I can do without that. Maybe Swami, you're avoiding the answer because you don't know. Maybe you can say that. Request to kindly elaborate and explain the following from the initial two mantras of Ishavasya Upanishad. Tena tyaktena bhunjisaha kurvannevehe karvani. Hasn't Swamiji yet discussed these mantras? In detail, I'm sure. Then why are you asking me to explain? If I say something else, then you'll compare. Swami said this, and you are saying this, and Swami, So I should not take that risk, really, of trying to explain what is already explained, where I may differ in some way, and then you say, but Swamiji said this, and then so a series of questions may come out again. Why is the knowledge of asangatam of the Atma not sufficient for moksha? See, King Janaka also wanted to solve other problems about the karma and the karma phala, and so yes, this much I understand, but still I do not know why is there fear in life and why is there this. So he wanted answer to those questions also. Apparently, saying that you are liberated, you are free, you are limitless, does not help him to become free from fear. Otherwise, no question should remain when you are told that you are limitless, you are whole, complete. But still, he says, then why do I have fear? That means that he doesn't know what limitless is. And therefore, King Janaka continues to entertain the understandings, whatever understanding he got. But, oh, Yajnavalkyaji, you not explain why there is fear, because in dream there is fear. Why is it so? You perform an action and this thing happens. So these are the questions, meaning that he did not connect. The fact that you are liberated is not connected to these other experiences in life, meaning that you are liberated is not understood. If you understood I am liberated, that means I am asanga, unconnected. Then it's clear that fear belongs to mind, even if it is there. Fear belongs to mind. How do you know there is fear? Swami, I am aware of fear. That means that you are a witness of fear. Somebody says, Swamiji, I am restless. Puja Swami says, I am restless. So Swamiji in his own style, he says, no, you are silence. Swamiji, I am restless. You are silence. I am restless. So more Swamiji would say, more restless that fellow would get. I'm restless, Swamiji. You're all silence. Swamiji, if you say that one more time, there'll be not one but two restless people. Then Swami says, okay, now, how do you say you're restless? I know I'm restless. How do you know you're restless? My mind is restless. Okay, your mind is restless. How do you say you are restless? So all these conclusions are there, fear, etc. King Janaka will realize that it is because of identifying with something that there is fear. When there is a duality, when you are different and I am different, then there is, Jitiyadvai Bhayam Bhavati, then there is a possibility of fear. But this teaching of moksha is not connected in every way. It's understood in some context. For example, I had a milkman who used to deliver milk every morning. He had this, what do you call them, the multiplication tables. So 9 times, what is it? 1 is 1, 9 and 18 and 27, etc. So I think the milk was 9 liters, 9 rupees a liter. And at the end of the month, he was, settling the account. So he delivered milk for 24 days. I'm just making it simple. I said 27 days, and that would be a little difficult. Although I can tell, but I'm not sure that you can tell. So when when he settled the account, then he started, 9, 18, 27, 36. Hey, have you not learned the multiplication table of 9? I have learned. He knows that 9, 8 is, what is it? Huh? 72, okay. But he did not realize that that is what he has to apply here, that 9, 18, 27. That 9 times 4 is 36, that he will repeat in this multiplication table. When it comes to the practical thing, there are 9 days and 4 rupees a day. He just says 4, 8, 12. Meaning you do not know the application of what you know. So perhaps King Janaka understood that he is liberated but did not know the application, therefore fear still remains. So this is not yet translated at the level of understanding. Otherwise, question cannot come, but questions are there, and that's what discussion goes on. It's a long discussion. He says, Katama Atma, which one of the many is Atma? That question may not make sense to us. He was told what Atma is. But then there is body, and there is prana, and sense organs, and mind, and intellect. Which one is Atma? Either he was innocent and did not connect the teaching, or he wanted a discussion and clarification for us, for the world, so that we become more and more clear. Whatever. Sometimes questions may or may not make sense to us. Questions may be there. I should not say all this because King Janaka asked the question, Katama Atma, which one of them is Atma? Is body, prana, sense organs, mind, intellect, which one is Atma? Which one is Atma? Hmm? Because sometimes I say I'm fat, means the body is Atma. Sometimes I'm walking, that means the organ of action is Atma. Sometimes say that I can't see, that means the organ of seeing is Atma. And thus we identify with different aspects of our personality and therefore declare ourselves to be different. That means that I am not analyzed, as to what exactly I am. And that I keep on changing my identity all the time. So who are you? I'm talking. Then later on it says I'm eating, but then you're a talker or a eater. Who are you? A speaker is a speaker. It doesn't start, talking. He just speaks. He doesn't hear. What is speaker? Keeps on speaking. Doesn't hear. Then he's called speaker. Can you be called speaker? Is it your nature? Then you should keep on speaking, speaking, then you can be called speaker or hearer. What is it that you are there all the time effortlessly? No, I'm not a speaker. I'm now and then speaker. Hearer, now and then hearer. Man, now and then, because I don't remember and I don't know who I am in deep sleep, etc. All these kind of designations I give to myself, all of them are only temporary relative. What is the lasting, you know, designation of myself? In all of these, what? So now I'm talking, then I'll be listening, then I'll be eating, then I'll be sleeping. Who am I? In all of these, what is one unchanging thread? I am talking, I'm walking, I'm eating. What is unchanging? I am, I am, I am, I am. If that is not connected by me, then I'll ask a strange question. So why is the knowledge of asangatvam of Atma not sufficient for moksha? If you connect with everything, it is sufficient for moksha. Asangatvam includes everything. One thing includes everything. When you pull one leg of a cot, then all the other three are also pulled. So also Nitya, Shuddha, Buddha, Mukta, each one of them includes everything else. It is that we have to see the different phases of that or different aspects of that. But since we use word Nitya in a certain way, therefore we also need Mukta and Buddha. Each one means everything. But since we use the word Nitya, Shuddha, Buddha, Mukta in our language for a particular application, all these things have to be said. One, if you say Nitya is enough. It also means Nitya Shuddha, also it means. Because Nitya cannot be Shuddha and Buddha, etc. So one word will include everything, but that would require a lot of thinking. So they tell us so many words. So also, Asangatva, if really stretched to all its aspects, would result in moksha. But King Janaka did not do all that much. That is why the questions remain. This is the same question as we already discussed. Could you please explain a little more about a sleeping person experiencing waking state? Sleeping in sleep of ignorance and waking with reference to this relative world. I think this question is answered. If not, then
That Videha, as you said in the Upanishad, Videha is the country or place where the King Janaka, but he's also called Videhi because he is beyond, he's already like a Jivan Mukta, Videhi. So it's because of his state where he is the king
no,
of.
Videha can have to, we already said that in the class. Videha can be because he lived in the country of Videha. Videha because he was free from identification with Deha. Vigatam. Vigataha Deha hai asmat. Sah Videha. One from whom the idea of the hidden individual body is gone away is called Videha. Both ways. How to bring about the devotion in me or devotee in me so that I can see Ishvara, feel Ishvara. First of all, you decide that this is what you want. I want to see Ishvara. I want to feel Ishvara. But Swamiji says, I want moksha as well as helicopter. Meaning that I want many things. Devotion also I want this, and so forth. You decide that this is what you want. I want devotion. I want to be devotee. I do not want anything else. So from my mind, your mind, remove. So remove any other desire that you have. I don't want to be wealthy. I don't want to be this. So give up all the other ideas of desiring anything else. Let all your desire resolve into one desire. I want to be devotee of God. That is called devotion, meaning a total commitment. And so all I want in my life is Ishvara. I do not want anything else. Work on that thought. And if any other desires are there, I want Ishvara, I don't want this. And minds, I want this, I want Ishvara, not this. And this way, keep on asserting this desire of yours that what I want is Ishvara. Let that remain the only desire that will be fulfilled. Well, you can't expect Ishvara to fulfill every desire is contradictory, I want this also and that also. I want, what is in Gujarati they say, one food is in milk, another food is in curd or something like that. Is that right? Hmm? दूध ને દહીં બંનેમાં પગ મૂકો. Now see the question. Our scriptures teach that everything in the universe is to be felt in an innermost being as asti, bhati, priyam. So every atom to be felt as pure love, divine, clean, pure. Despite of it, why did Hindu society consider a group of people this as untouchable? What's the connection between these two? You consider yourself at the level at which you live, this is what your conclusions are going to be. Theoretically, you are asti bhadi priyam. If you really were there, the question of untouchability doesn't come at all. We talk asti bhadi priyam and we behave as though we are simple mortal beings. Meaning that this philosophy you are teaching has not been internalized at all, has not been connected to life. Principles are very high, but difficult to live, and therefore our life does not reflect our principles. That may be everywhere, but particularly when you talk of this untouchable, there are all different issues are there. Don't connect with Astivadi Priyam. Please look into the literature and how untouchability came, etc. It's a long history and nothing to do with Astivadi Priyam. When you understand that, the question of touchability also doesn't come. And these are all these fashion, to ask this kind of questions. Swami, why we have this philosophy? Why do we do this? This philosophy that everything is Brahman, then why do we do this? Why don't you think? Why do you ask a question like that? Because it's all fashionable way. No, we are thinking, like, why do you have a caste? Why do you have this? Why do you have that? Meaning your principles don't connect your living. But see, the way we live is meant to help us ultimately recognize our principle. Right away, it is not possible for me to recognize that everything is Ishvara. Therefore, I first relate myself to the best way I can. So that's why a certain system is given to us, and we can slowly rise in our understanding, awareness, maturity to ultimately reach a point. We start from where we are, ultimately reach to a point where we want to be. But why are we not there right now? We are not there. And so we have to live a certain way of life, values, attitudes, and slowly to grow in our maturity to recognize the truth. Is it the view of our Shastra that a thought must be a conscious thought? That is, that the inner thought is illumined by consciousness. If so, what is the Vedantic view or explanation of the so called unconscious mind, subconscious mind? Subconscious is a state of mind, conscious also is a state of mind. Everything is illumined by consciousness. That you are aware of the even concept of subconscious mind is because that thought is illumined by consciousness. So everything is illumined by consciousness, and conscious, subconscious, all of these are the states of mind, and all illumined by consciousness. Everything is Brahman implies that Maya is Brahman. So Brahman is the cause of Jagat without doing or having any attributes. Can you please elaborate or explain? How is Brahman the cause? The cause generally undergoes a change, like the cause that is clay undergoes a change to become a pot. So creation does require a change. Here we are told that Brahman, without undergoing any change, creates. When we say the cause undergoes a change to become effect, that is when the cause and effect are in the same degree of reality. But here, Brahman is absolute reality, and the Jagat is projection. Therefore, Jagat, you know, so projection or superimposition and substratum can remain simultaneously. Brahman is the substratum upon which the universe is projected. So Brahman is cause of Jagat by way of being a substratum of the universe, or projection of universe. Like rope and snake. Is there any way to explain that there is only one awareness other than referring to Shastra? In direct experience, there appears to be different awareness of senses, awareness of thoughts, awareness of interception, etc., etc. See, the object of awareness keeps changing. Light is one, it illumines yellow, it illumines red, it illumines blue, it illumines black. So, what is illumine is different, but the illuminator is the same. So, also, what is thoughts, etc., they all are illumined. The one that illumines is awareness, and that is one, does not change. Just as there is only one light, what is illumined by light is many. But what illumines that light is one. So the thoughts are many, they illumine. But that which illumines the thought, that awareness is one. Awareness is like light. Thoughts are illumined. And so awareness is one. That doesn't have to be many to illumine many things. Okay. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamada Purnameva Vasishyate Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Hari Om